Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Coffee and Conversations. My name is Desiree Dubois, and I'm the founder of An Empowered Woman and Homework. And what we do is we support women in starting, fixing, and building their businesses. And Homework, though, is our combination of our real estate interests, because I've been a real estate broker, investor, and agent since 1989, but also our women's community where we live, work, share. So, Homework is where you can live where you work where you live, anywhere in the world. And we not only have our signature properties, which women can stay full time, part time, or as a drop in, but we represent other women that have guest houses, guest rooms, or vacation rentals that want a more specific clientele, and provide the marketplace for them. We market their properties, and it's membership based. So the people that become a member, they have access to hosting events like the Coffee Conversation. Those are local can host the Taco Tuesdays and different live events. We also do a podcast interview with them, sharing that with our community, as well as a Facebook Live. We call it Homework Live, where we do an interview and share that with all of our social media. The whole thing is to be able to market women in business. So today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Maria Waite. And she is a producer, a investor, a author, a podcaster, host, and just an array of different talents. But she's also the author of the six essential principles, the finest women in real estate, the six essential principles for real estate. So good morning. How are you doing today, Marie? Oh, did I accidentally mute her?
I was on mute. Okay. Good morning, Desiree. Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. It's just another morning in paradise.
Yes, it's just one of those mornings.
So it's great, but we're glad you're here. We're glad the ladies are here. So tell us a little about how you got started and what do you do? I went through quite a few different things. So tell us what you do and how you got started in doing that.
Okay. So currently, I am the owner of the Finest Women in Real Estate. It is a marketing company that I started in 2014. Prior from that, I actually opened a real estate company in 2005, and I had recruited about 50 agents in our company and worked with them, hand in hand. So very much aware of all the ins and outs of real estate, all the struggles and the challenges. So, and that's how we ended up creating a marketing program for the real estate. I focus on women because that's what mostly I can relate to because I'm also a licensed agent at that time. So I can totally understand what they're dealing with. So I decided to just focus on finest women in real estate. Um, Before real estate, I was also in the healthcare industry for about 15 years. I managed two big hospitals. I was in charge of their decision support system. So I work with a lot of corporate leaders and very much, you know, uh, very much experience in that industry. But I wanted to get into real estate because I had a lot of real estate investment at the time, and I was having all kinds of concerns and issues with my transactions. So I decided to get into real estate and learn the whole process. And then later on, we decided to just also open a real estate company because I also wanted to make a difference and really experience the entire process in the industry. So because of that, it opened up the doors for me. I ended up creating a marketing company for finest women in real estate, and of course I ended up publishing a book, which is the finest women, the six essential principles of finest women in real estate. I co-authored this with Steve Matley. He is a good friend of mine, and he was also um, a great business analyst, advisor. He had over 25 years in the building industry. And so he and I really collaborated a lot. He has a lot to do with how I established the finest women in real estate. He gave me a lot of ideas on how to help the women in real estate by doing producing the reality TV show. We did that in 2015, where we put together a group of investors, and we did uh, I would say, a week filming of the reality TV show, and we did a premiere at the ArcLight Cinema in Hollywood. We invited about 150 network distributors, and it was amazing. It was such a great experience. And from there, I also got introduced to so many people in the network where I ended up meeting people like a very experienced TV host. He mentored me for a year, and I am able to produce the TV talk show for Finest Women in Real Estate, where I produce 48 episodes. And then from there, I started the Fire Up Connect. I have the Fire Up Live seminar. I have more TV shows that came out. Real Men of Real Estate came out also. We aired that on NBC last February. We also have now a TV show called The Business Doctor TV. And then I'm going to be launching a radio show in July. We do have a magazine for Finest Women in Real Estate also that we published. So there's so many marketing programs that came out of this, just because wanting to help the women in real estate in regards to the marketing program. So that's kind of like where I am right now with everything.
That's wonderful. So just going back a bit, what do you think the big thing that women in real estate need the most? Through your
They
experience, what have you found that they need?
Most women that are coming into the industry, they do have the desire for, having the flexibility. A lot of the single mom, a lot of the wife that wanted to help support the family. And the 50 agents, I'm talking about the 50 agents I've worked with. These are people that are really wanting to just get into real estate. They have a full-time job. They wanted to transition to real estate. Some of them are just really struggling with, financially with their families' financial situations. So they wanted to help. And some of them are single moms. So those are the people that I've dealt with. So my focus was to help them on the marketing side, because they're doing multiple things. They're raising their family. They're also trying to maintain their full-time job, and then they're trying to see how they can get into real estate. So, it was hard to see that that's the situation that I saw from the 50 people that I was working with.
Okay.
And so that was my experience from the people that I recruited.
Okay, so what I hear is like some of the reasons why the women got into real estate was for the flexibility, was to supplement their income and so forth. When they were there, do you feel that they needed, everyone needs like education, but was there anything different from what men needed in real estate? What men needed, did they need more of anything than the men needed? And I'm just trying to make that distinction just so that we can kind of sit with ourselves and figure that out. So just like even in one line, was there anything that specifically you felt that you did with women that you didn't do or didn't need to do with men?
I think with women, because I am also currently the licensed agent at that time. Mm-hmm. I think for women, there were several things that they're dealing with. One is the safety. And I dealt with so many people that are, calling me. And, there were times that I was in a position where I had to really be careful of, who I'm dealing with. And I've seen that with the agents that I've had, that are women. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. And men, I don't think they were dealing with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why the part of doing the reality TV show is to also show that concern. Mm-hmm. Because we've had stories where there were agents that were killed at the site of the home that they were showing. And some of the stories that because I interviewed about 100 agents when I was doing the reality TV show, and I heard a lot of really horrifying stories. So, and we wanted to, make the people aware of that situation. There was an agent that was almost kidnapped.
So safety being one, was there anything else?
Well, another thing is because they were doing multiple things and trying to raise family. Okay. The part of marketing is the hardest thing for them. And some of the people, again, it depends on their personality too. And some of the people that are coming in like to serve their clients, but having trouble marketing themselves in the community. And so I was actually very good at that. And I actually have proved that to a lot of people how that works because it happened to me. And
Mhm.
because I have that such as extrovert personality that I'm able
Mhm.
to really brand myself in the community without having that intention. But that's what happened. And I became very well connected because of what I did. So I wanted to share that information to people on how you can brand yourself within the community, and really understanding the impact in your business.
So segueing with that, as far as the branding yourself, you're going into your book. I'm looking at some of the notes there. So you put what was the reason for creating this book? Was your
So
intent
the
behind it?
so the book is to have a good understanding of why finance women in real estate exists. Because in the beginning, when we launched it, and we actually had a premiere where we had invited people in the community, they really didn't understand what finance women in real estate. And there was some uh,
Since-
interpretation about, who are the finest women in real estate.
Mhm.
And so we have to explain that in the book. It
Okay.
was not, I mean, people were thinking, oh, maybe they were like the top producers, or maybe they were like the most beautiful women in there. So it wasn't about that. And that's why we have to explain that in the book. And there's so many things in there that the word finest actually explains it. So we were talking about F as freedom, which is what most people are coming into the real estate because they want freedom from their situation. We're talking about flexibility in time, trying to be creative and spread their wings because, I myself worked for a corporate world where I was working full time. And getting into real estate kind of gave me the flexibility of what I want, how I want to manage my time. And at the same time, I was able to spread my wings and be more creative about how I'd like to, do things. And then along the way is you also discover yourself that those are things that you wouldn't know if you were not in the business. And I learned to discover a lot of things about myself where I didn't really know that I was good in marketing. And that's what happened. I discovered that I was good in marketing. And so
Mhm.
that's the part of the first letter of finance is the emphasis of freedom. And then we talk about integrity. Integrity is a big factor of being in any type of business. It's not just real estate. It's how you build your reputation, and how you, we were talking about, let me just look at my bullet points here under integrity. We're talking about community service, which is what I did. I wanted to really emphasize that because that's how it gave me that reputation. And I wasn't even trying to build a reputation, but it comes along with it. People were like um, giving some statements about me and saying, oh yeah, if you work with Marie, yeah, these are the things that you'll know about her. And they were saying those things, and I didn't even know that that's who I am in the community because of what I was doing. And then communication is a big part of that. We're talking about communication in social media, okay?
Okay.
Communication within your circle of people, communication within the community. You're talking about the city, your communication with the city officials, because I had to do all of that because of the community service that I was doing. So you really had to understand your position and how you communicate with the city officials, because there are things that you need to decide in terms of your position in the community, and you have to be careful about that too. So that's the second part of finance. And then let's the next one is niche. Okay. And in real estate, everybody says that they're good at everything, right? And it's really hard for people to connect with you if they don't know what you're really good at, what you're specialized in real estate. And I always tell people that it's okay to say that you're good at one thing, because if they really see that you're good in one thing, they will know that you're good with a lot of other things. And that's how you attract them. I learned that the hard way because I was going after a lot of things in the beginning where I was covering different areas of different cities. And I realized that in real estate, you can't be that way. You have to be specialized in one area or in a certain program in real estate. And when you do that, you really attract more people, and people are gonna look at you more than any, you know, they will actually respect you when you specialize in one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you know, whatever, if you're doing some additional things, and they'll know that, but at least they know that you're defined this way. It's easier for you to connect with your target market. And then the next one, we talked about excellence. Well, as we all know, we all want to strive for excellence, right? And in here, in this chapter, we are covering about client service, you know, follow-up process, your commitment and delivery. It's the things that you look for when you're in a business environment. You want to make sure that you have a good client service program. You know how to, you have a follow-up process in place, because that's very critical when you don't have that. That's where part of your reputation is going to be defined based on how you follow up with your clients. And of course, your commitment and the way you deliver things. We talked about how you keep your word to people, because, you know, when people rely on your word, I swear, I mean, it makes a big difference on your relationship with people. They will, when, you know, I remember when I had one connection here, and he said to me, and he said there were other people in front. They said, oh, with Marie, I know if she say this is what's gonna be, I truly believe that that's what's gonna be. So because of all the things that I've done, and I've committed to my word when I say something to people, and when you do that, then people will really talk about that. I had a lawyer connection here, and he said to me, he's part of a big network, and he said, Marie, they've been talking about you. And I was like surprised that that's the feedback, because I was going to him just for, you know, ask for consulting. And then all of a sudden he said, they've been talking about you, and so impressive what you've done. And so those are the feedback that you want to hear from your own connection, that you're going to be surprised that people are going to be looking for you. They're going to be calling you. You're going to become a resource. I mean, I get a lot of text messages or calls, and they say, Marie, I'm new in town. They were telling me I have to be connected to you. You're the person to be connected. And then, or Marie, do you know somebody who can do this for me? And you know, when you start getting those kind of calls and connection, you know that you're reaching a lot of people, and that you're having your own influence within your community. Number 5, the chapter 5, which is structure, that's actually more from Steve Matley. Steve Matley had done a presentation for our nonprofit. So in 2008, I started a nonprofit organization also. And this nonprofit became very popular in our community because of how I've done it. I did an event. Initially, I invited about 26 vendors to work with me on a outside event outside our building. And we didn't have a good turnout, but I talked to everyone, and I said, this is what my idea, this is the vision on how we can make this work for everybody to help the businesses in our community. So the next event we did, we had over 100 vendors that participated. So it became very, very successful. And I was recommended, I got a lot of feedback, and they recommended that I had to have a nonprofit organization. So it took me 2 years to get the nonprofit status. And then from there, we ended up doing more events. And here's the funny thing about the whole thing. I ended up being famous in the fashion industry, which is, I'm not a fashion designer. I have no clue how to create a dress, but I became very famous in that because of the events that I was doing. And here's the result of that. Because of my status in the fashion industry, people started inviting me to expensive events. We're talking about the major fashion shows in LA, in Orange County. And I even got an invitation to fly to Paris because they wanted me to be in their fashion show. So that's what branding does to you. You're going to attract a lot of people that you wouldn't even think about. It's because of how you present yourself in the community. But chapter 5 is really the crucial part of the whole business. And I think, if you understand what Steve is talking about here, he's talking about really building a very, very solid foundation about your business. And he's talking about having your mission, building your mission statement, your vision statement, and the vision statement have different layers. And then you have to know what your core values. You need to know your organizational structure that you see for your business. And then the last part is what's the starting point of your business. So let's talk about real quick mission statement. And this is just from my experience because he helped us with our nonprofit organization. He's the guy that helped me take that nonprofit from having almost, hardly membership to 100 members because of how he helped us with our mission statement. And the mission statement is very interesting how he created it because it's a very structured. Remember, he's in the building industry and he worked with so many companies, and he's the guy that built a lot of high-rise buildings. He's dealing with billions of dollars of project management, okay? So his information was created based on all the companies that he worked with. And he knew what are the things that they need to have. And these are the things that he's been telling people, that you need to spend time on your mission statement. And I can tell you, I spent time on it. It took a while for me to really put all the information for the mission statement, but it was worth it because I understood exactly what I need to do for my company. And especially the vision statement is another very important part of your business. The vision statement is not only having a 5-year, not only having a 10-year, you're going to have at least 20 and 50-year vision statements. And those are the things that is going to be part of the process of creating, the foundation of your business. Now,
Are you open to sharing what your mission statement is?
well, my mission statement is a long one, and I keep it to myself because the reason why is, it's very, it's very personal in terms of what I need to do for myself. So it's really not for people right now because the Finest Women in Real Estate is a growing business right now. Mm-hmm. Once I have accomplished my mission statement for my personal goals, then I'm going to expand that to everyone else. Because, again, you have to understand how you build your mission statement. And it has a lot to do with my personal goals. Okay. So.
Fair enough.
Yes. But you'll have your own, and you'll decide what you want for your mission statement. Okay. And for me, it actually involves my personal life as part of this whole deal because I have to also feel good about doing it. And I am in this business. Remember, I came from a corporate world where I was getting paid a lot of money for a small time of work. And I'm getting into real estate where I put a lot of work for less money. And this is where I was when I started in real estate. That's how I saw it. But now I understand how it works. So, but it's part of my growth in the mission statement is how I incorporated that. And I explained that to Steve, that this is what I want and this is for me for now. Okay. And because he was helping me with my mission statement.
Fair enough. Yes. So the last one is trust, yes?
So the last one is trust. Trust is a huge, huge thing for the business. If people trust you, so we're talking about, let's see, referral system, right? Mm-hmm. Business connection and resources, collaboration, and your higher calling. So referral system, it's really about your network. So when you build your own community, your presence, your reputation, your niche, you're going to have your own network of people that you that really bought into your ability into your image, and they're going to be your referral system. And the key there is how do you work with them? Okay, because it's easy to get people to influence, but how do you work with them? So that's where you talk about um, creating that collaboration. And for every person that I work with or I connect, I always talk about how can we collaborate, okay? Because it's a waste of connection if you're not going to be able to work with them. And in some ways, there's a way that you can work with them where there's no direct transaction, but because they are connected with you, but they know what you do. So educating them with your business will help them give you business. Okay, so the collaboration is a big part of that. But how will you get to that point? So the trust is a huge thing. You have it's a good example is that when I'm not trying to be religious here, okay, and please, I'm just trying to use some examples. Like Jesus Christ has 12 apostles, and he concentrated on the 12 people only and how he worked with them, and he really embedded the relationship. The faith is so strong. So when you have a very close people that you have to establish that trust and that relationship with them, and that they really know everything about you, everything that you are about. And when that happens, then you will be surprised that they're going to be your ambassador. They're going to be bringing you so many business. And I remember I haven't done residentials for a long time because I've been focused on land now, but I still get clients from my connections on residential up to now. And I said, I haven't done any residential, but I can help you find another person that can help you with this. So when you have this kind of this relationship, you will have a lifetime referral from them. And I promise you, that is exactly what you're going to have if you have that beautiful relationship with your network. So that's what we're talking about when it comes to trust. So, I mean, a lot of the stories I put in here is from my personal experiences and from the real estate stories that I've had, but it is applicable to all types of businesses. And if you guys have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We will. We're going to take a break and then we'll come back from that break. But one of the questions that I have, and ladies, again, write all the questions you may have in the chat boxes or just hold that thought. We'll be back in a minute. Like you mentioned, I think it's really important to mention that whatever business that we're in, these things are so applicable, as far as, all the touch points that you made. And now it's such a great time to kind of revise, to re-look, to just really remember, go back to basics, I guess is what I'm saying. Go back to the basic things, because how we come through this storm is going to be based on a lot of those things, the trust, the reputation, our integrity, our mission, just staying, all those things, the collaborations that we have, all of that's going to be applicable in seeing how we emerge from the storm. Some of us will not, some people will not make it through for whatever reason, but a lot of the ones that will, I feel very strongly to believe that they have implemented, or they're following this line, that they're following those different traits, the things that you're mentioning, that's going to take them through. So I think it's really going to be a perfect time for us to go through all of them again, go through and again, the freedom, like why we're doing what we're doing. And is it still because of the flexibility or the creativity or the self-discovery, and, the integrity? Are we still able to maintain our integrity, during these processes, our reputation? Are we still willing to give back in our community service? Or how are we serving our community? And communication, how are we communicating with people? Because, people are very sensitive right now, and I think they're going to be for a while. So our communication is going to be critical on all different, from our contractors to our agents to our clients, so to our families. People are just sensitive at the point, and that's going to be, and really refine. This is the time to refine your niche. I've always said that, there's enough in every niche for you to be able to accomplish all your goals. So I think people feel that it's grandeur to be that jack of all trades. And again, that doesn't mean that we don't know about it. That doesn't mean we can't do it, but it's much more beautiful and elegant, and to find a niche that specializes in that. And it doesn't mean you can serve others, but it means that, again, I would go to a specialist when I'm going to some attorney or to a doctor or, even in the store, if I'm looking for shoes, I'm gonna go to a store that has shoes as opposed to a store that sells tools. So, that's their niche. So it's really, do not be afraid of that. And it's fun actually, because you can communicate now in that language to the people that you want to communicate to. It makes you unique and it does help brand you. And then being excellent. I mean, we just have to step it up. We have to really step up our game with our client service. We have to stand out from the crowd. The space is very crowded right now in real estate and other industries. So how do you stand out? And that's going to be, the client service, your follow-up process. The fortune is always in the follow-up, the commitment that you have to your word and the delivery, because again, people now have so many options, and I probably guilty like a lot of other people. If I don't get the service, if I don't get the commitment, if someone doesn't follow through, I'm on to the next, because we have no time, no energy, no resources to keep making it work. I'm really on to the next, not in a bad way. It's just that's what I have to do to be able to accomplish, what I'm trying to accomplish. So and that is, and that's really what it comes with this client customer service, and then what I can believe that they're going to do, what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, the way they're going to do it, for the price they're going to do it for. Those are all the factors that I look at. And the structure, your structure, your own structure, what's your purpose statement or your vision statement, your core values, knowing where they are. How can you implement them if you don't know what they are? So you've got to know what they are. And then your organizational structure, again, whether it's your team, whether it's you're incorporated or not incorporated, whether you're, legal, your accounting, all of that structure has it's like a house. If you have the most beautiful ceiling and chandeliers, but if you don't have a good floors and good walls, it's not going to last, it's not going to stay. So you have to really start with a good structure. And that's like the best structure will survive what we're going through right now. And then again, it goes from point A to point B, and where you are now, like where you are now. It's never too late. Some people say, I've been in this business for so long and I'm kind of stuck, or I've gotten ingrained in these systems. Stop and start over. In that sense of it's really building your foundation, and you'll feel prouder. You'll feel like you're walking on solid ground. You'll feel stronger, just by the fact that you got certain things together. And the trust, not only trusting others and letting others trust you, but trust yourself. Trust the decisions that you're making, trust the things that you're doing, trust that you're doing the best that you can do. And with that will transcend everything. People will be able to pick on that. People will be able to understand. They'll see that trust. I can see the women that are confident and that trust what they're doing. The decision that you make, you got to trust it's a good decision. And whether it's right or wrong, still is something that you trusted in. And then
I wanted to just say this, Ray, which is one thing I learned from this whole process, is that you'll learn more about yourself and who you are. Mm-hmm. And once you really find a lot of your talents that you've never thought that you're going to have, that's when you'll see how you will just, embrace the whole thing, all the marketing, all the talents that you have, and then you'll benefit so many people. It's just amazing once you discover those things.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a good awakening for all of us. And then again, let's concluding what you said, capturing what you said, the referral system. I mean, that's the best, especially in something like real estate, because everybody has access to the same inventory. Everyone can go into MLS, even your customers can go to the different portals and find houses and do transactions with or without you. So you're going to really need to have that referral system, have those business connections, and have that collaboration. And like you said, Maria, it's like, what's the point of having someone's business card and meeting people if you're not going to collaborate with them in some kind of way, shape, or form? Even if it's referring them to somebody else they can collaborate with, that just make an impact on every person that you meet. Let them leave with something that they didn't come with. And it could be just simple as a good word, kind word, or referral, or to know that you're available for them to help. So, and then being able to trust and be able to go to your higher calling, whatever that may be. And I think now of us need to really, sink our heels into that just to keep going forward. Because it's more than just business, for us, it's our lives. It affects our lives, it affects our families, it affects our social life, our financial life, our physical, being. So you're making more than just an investment of time, it's an investment of all. So make sure that it's worth it, and it is. So let's take a break. We're right at around 10 o'clock, and this gives you everyone a chance to run to the restroom or refill your drinks, and we'll talk about what you're drinking. And then we'll start opening up. We'll open it up for, I'm opening up now. I'll stop the recording. We'll open up now for everybody to share. Hold on.